So I've got it here in the sunlight, and look at how bad that is. This is before, and here is after about 20 minutes of work. All right, today we've got an exciting one. I'm just gonna go ahead and get right into it. You clicked on the video, you know what it's about. The C5 and C6 Corvettes, and I think even C7s, on the Target tops, they had this option for these awesome glass tops. I love these, but one huge problem with them is after time, they start to build up this oxidation and they look like crap. If you've got it, you can feel it. It's all textured. And pulling up to Sunday's Corvette and coffee with a roof that looks like this is just as bad as showing up in New Balances that aren't freshly white. Like, you're just gonna get looked at weird. So this one is from 2000, and it is in pretty rough shape, as you can see. But even my 2008 had this. So like even the newer ones have these same problems, and they just don't look good. They're discolored. It's not as see-through from the bottom. You can see all that texture. It just looks gross. So today we've got a quick, easy, and cheap way to fix this. You can buy new lenses for these, but it does get kind of expensive, and that's a much more invasive install. This is something anyone can do at home. It's super cheap, costs maybe 50 bucks, but chances are you already have this stuff at your house. So we're gonna get right into it. All right, so I've got it right here in the sunlight so you guys can get a quick before look at this. All of that oxidation, and then once we finish up, we'll get an after to compare it with. So we're gonna use an 800 grit wet and dry sandpaper first. I'm gonna finish it off with 2000 grit, same wet and dry, and then I've got some buffing compound we'll finish it off with. So I've got a bowl of water here. I'm soaking my sandpaper in, and it's also got a little bit of soap. You can use car soap, dish detergent, doesn't really matter. I just use that for a little bit of extra lubrication, and then we're gonna start sanding away at this. All right, and you can already start to see some of the yellowish particles coming off. That's like all the oxidation. We wanna keep going until that's like more like a bright whitish color. And also you're looking for the top to be smooth. As you're sanding it, you'll feel it smoothing out, and you'll even be able to see it. As you can kind of see here, this area is a lot smoother, and then like right here it's rough again. So we're just looking to get it smooth with the 800 grit, making sure to keep it wet and lubricated. That just helps it, helps for more like deep scratches forming. All right, I just finished hitting it with 800. It's still drying a little bit, but you can already tell how much smoother that is. You're looking for a nice, consistent finish just like this. I'm gonna go over it one more time. Looks like this part over here is a little bit not consistent. You'll see like here, you know, that's all uniform. We want that over the whole thing. So this stuff, that's probably where there's a little bit of the coating left. So I'm gonna hit that once more. We'll just keep going until it looks all uniform and all good. And then we'll move down to the 2000 that we used before we polish it. All right, it's still a little dirty, but it's looking pretty good now, feeling smooth. I'm gonna move down to the 2000. We'll hit it a few more times, and then we get to buff it. All right, I'm all finished sanding with the 2000. I'm gonna go ahead and hit it with this stuff. This is a really, really aggressive, you can see here, extra heavy cut. You want as aggressive as a compound as you can get, since we're working with plastic instead of paint. I think there's even plastic compounds you could get, but this is what I've got, and then I'm using a heavy cutting buffing pad. So we're gonna go ahead and hit that with this, and we'll see how she comes out. All right, let's see how she looks after one pass with the buffing compound. That's already looking really good. I'm gonna go over it a couple times just because we're working with plastic here instead of paint. So it does take just a little bit more effort to cut through it. But man, you can already see that's a pretty close to mirror finish. There's maybe a little bit of a haze to work out still. But yeah, that's definitely a lot better. I'm excited to see how clear it is from the bottom. And I'm using an orbital buffing tool. You can use just like a drill attachment if you'd like. You could even do it by hand, although that would be a bit of a pain just because it's plastic. So I recommend just picking up like a cheap drill tool to do it with. I'm gonna work through this, and then we'll see what it looks like whenever it's done. All right, as you guys can see, the top turned out great after buffing it. Now that it's looking great, you want to keep it looking great. So the best thing to do after you've done this process is to either clear coat it with a 2K clear coat, make sure that it's got UV protection, because that's what hurt it in the first place. And now that you've sanded the plastic down, it's right back to having no UV protection. You could even use like a PPF clear protective film to help it. There might even be like some wipe-on waxes that have UV protection on them as well. But a paint shop could paint it for you, put clear coat on it. That might be $100. It's a small piece and it's just clear coat. Or you could just do it with there's Amazon sells some spray cans that are great. I've had great results using those on several projects. And if you're not happy with the finish of that, you can do the same thing we just did on that. Buff out any texture that you have from spray painting it, and then buff it smooth. It'll make it like it. With that stuff, you can literally never have painted anything and make it look like a professional paint job. But yeah, hopefully some of you guys found this helpful. I know that there's a lot of Corvettes out there that have this problem. If you have any questions, I'm always happy to answer them in the comments below. That's all I've got for you.